Hello everyone, this is the part 2 of ecosystem. In part 1 video, we have already discussed about the introduction of ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? What are the different two components of ecosystem? These are the biotic and abiotic components. And now going ahead in the chapter, we are today discussing about the subtopic productivity. For the proper functionality of an ecosystem, the important processes which should take place these are productivity, decomposition, relationship of producer and consumers, flow of energy through different trophic levels and cycling of nutrients. These all processes will be discussed separately in different parts of this chapter. This is an ecosystem, the layout of a ecosystem. Here the producers are those biotic component of an ecosystem which make their food by themselves and they are autotrophs. And they are the biotic component. And the process by which they make their food, that process is photosynthesis. In the process of photosynthesis, the green plant make their food in presence of sunlight, which is the ultimate source of energy, and in presence of chlorophyll. Here, carbon dioxide and water it combines to form carbohydrates and the oxygen is released as a byproduct. Now, these producers are taken up by consumers and consumers are those which eat other consumer or the producers. So consumer can be primary consumers, secondary consumers or tertiary consumers. The primary consumers are those which are directly dependent on the producers. Secondary consumers are those which are dependent on primary consumers and the tertiary consumer are those which are dependent on secondary consumers. Now, the consumer are degraded by the decomposers. They break down dead material of plant and living animals, dead animals, and now the organic or inorganic compounds or the nutrients produced by the breakdown of the dead matter comprise the abiotic nutrients, which is the abiotic component or the non-living component of an ecosystem. So during this process, there is the cycling of the nutrients and there is also the flow of energy. So this is how an ecosystem regulates. The abiotic decomposed material in the soil. The abiotic decomposed material by means of decomposers in the soil contribute nutrients needed for the ecosystem to function. So the functionality of ecosystem is also by means of the recycling of the nutrients which is done by means of the abiotic decomposed material in the soil. Energy is captured from the sun by the producers to convert inorganic abiotic material into the organic compounds. As I said, CO2 plus water, it gives carbohydrate and oxygen. So here the energy is captured from the sun. Sun is the ultimate source of energy and this is done by means of producer. Producers are autotrophs. They convert inorganic abiotic material into organic compounds and supply food for other organisms or consumer in the ecosystem. The food which is produced by producers is taken up by the consumers. Consumers can be primary, secondary, and tertiary. So during this represents the productivity and the nutrient cycling. During the consumption of producers by consumers, there is cycling of nutrients as well as there is cycling of energy. The energy or the transfer of energy. Energy is then used by consumers that eat the producers or decomposer that break them out. So there is the flow of energy, there is cycling of nutrients, and there is the accumulation of biomass. Some of the energy is lost to the environment as heat. The decomposers, they break down the dead material of the plant and animals, and convert all organic matter into the carbon dioxide which they respire and nutrients which they become part of the soil again. So the decomposition is done by means of the decomposers, where they break down the dead material and convert all the organic matter into the carbon dioxide and nutrients. So again there is the nutrient cycling to the ecosystem. All the ecosystem, they sustain by their ability to convert atmospheric carbon into organic matter or the biomass. So the primary biological agent that enables carbon assimilation is the chlorophyll. Yes, therefore all chlorophyll based photosynthetic carbon assimilation in an ecosystem is considered as the primary production or the primary productivity. All ecosystems sustained or they are stable because they have the ability to convert the atmospheric carbon into the organic matter or the biomass. So the producers are the ones which are doing this function, or the green plants are doing this function. So the process of conversion of gaseous carbon to solid carbon or biomass or the organic matter is called assimilation. So this process of conversion of gaseous carbon means by means of photosynthesis, or in photosynthesis CO2 plus H2O in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So this is known as assimilation. The total amount of organic matter on earth in any ecosystem is called its biomass. So what is the biomass? Biomass is the total amount of organic matter on the earth or in any ecosystem or in a particular area is called the biomass of the earth, yeah, or of that ecosystem or of that area. So this biomass is measured as the amount per unit surface area of the earth. So here comes the productivity. What exactly is the productivity? Productivity refers to the rate of biomass production. It means the rate at which sunlight is captured by producers. Producers are the green plants. For the synthesis of energy rich organic compound, these are carbohydrates. So the rate of synthesis of organic matter or biomass produced at any tropic level during a given period of time is called productivity. It is of two types: primary productivity and secondary productivity. Primary productivity is the amount of biomass produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis is the primary productivity. So primary productivity is at the producer level because these are the producers which are performing the process of photosynthesis. And the primary productivity can also be referred to the amount of organic matter or biomass produced at the producer level during a given period of time. Now it expressed in terms of weight or energy. Primary productivity, it is of two types. It is the gross primary productivity and another one is the net primary productivity. Gross primary productivity. Second one is the net primary productivity. What is gross primary productivity? Gross primary productivity, these are the green plant which are actually acting as the producer in the biosphere. They produce organic compounds containing chemical energy in them, and the rate at which organic compounds are formed in the green plant or in a population of green plant per unit time and area, it is known as the gross primary productivity. So it is the rate of production of biomass or accumulation of energy by green plants per unit area per unit time is called the gross primary productivity. And gross primary productivity, it depends on the chlorophyll content, or we can say that gross primary productivity can be defined as, if the gross production of a tree, we look at the gross production of a tree, so it can be defined as the total amount of sugar which is produced by the process of photosynthesis. Now some of the sugar is oxidized in respiration by living cells of the trees, and some of the energy is used to convert other carbohydrate, those carbohydrates to the amino acid and amino acid to the proteins, and some of the energy is lost as heat in the transfer. Some is used within the plants itself. And gross primary productivity depends on the chlorophyll content. Now second one is the net primary productivity, which is, the abbreviation form is NPP. It is the amount of biomass which has been stored by the green plant. So building of biomass or the storage of energy by green plants or the plant which are producers in a unit time and area is called the net primary productivity. The net primary productivity result in the accumulation of plant biomass which serve as the food of herbivores and decomposers. Net primary productivity is equal to the rate of organic matter created by photosynthesis minus the rate of respiration and other losses. Once the biomass is created or generated by a plant, some of the biomass or the energy is lost during the process of respiration, or we can say that during respiration and some assimilated carbon, it breaks down and return to atmosphere during respiration process. So respiration, it is the use of biomass to release energy that can be used to do work. So it is returned to the environment and the carbon dioxide that had been removed by photosynthesis. So net primary productivity can be defined as the gross primary productivity minus respiration. So total biomass minus respiration losses, it defined the net primary productivity. Secondary productivity is the amount of biomass synthesized by consumer per unit area per unit time. Now the producers, they are taken up by consumers, and consumers, this amount of biomass which is synthesized by consumer per unit area per unit time is called the secondary productivity, or it can be any level of, at any level of consumers during a given time. Consumers tend to utilize already produced food material in their respiration and also convert the food matter to different tissues by the overall process. So secondary productivity is not divided into gross and net amounts. The annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere is approximately 170 billion tons of organic matter. Here the difference of the gross primary productivity and the net primary productivity is given. So what is gross primary productivity? It is the amount of organic matter synthesized by producer per unit time and per unit area. In terms of a tree, the gross primary productivity is the total amount of sugar that is produced by photosynthesis per unit time or per unit area. And net primary productivity is the amount of organic matter stored by producer per unit time and per unit area. So it means gross primary productivity minus respiration losses is net primary productivity. And gross primary productivity is equal to the rate of increase in body weight of producer plus loss suffered through respiration and damages, while the net primary productivity is equal to the organic matter synthesized by photosynthesis minus utilization in respiration and other losses. It depends upon photosynthetic efficiency of producers. Higher the photosynthetic efficiency of a producer, higher the gross primary productivity. So it is directly dependent on the photosynthetic rate, the availability of solar energy as well as inorganic nutrients. While the net primary productivity is dependent upon the gross primary productivity as well as the amount of consumption during the photosynthesis. The productivity is higher in case of coral reefs. Why? Because they grows in areas having the good light, enough warm water and the abundant nutrients. And the productivity it varies in different ecosystem. It is highest in case of coral reef and lowest in the desert. And the rate of productivity also varies in different seasons. Algal population is low in winter while it is higher in summer. There are like more flies in summer than in the winter. Leaf fall of the trees changes the biomass of the forest ecosystem. And you can say that there is more vegetation in summer than in the winter. So the variation in productivity can be seen in different ecosystems, and the maximum productivity is in the coral reefs. The reason I have already explained, they grow in the areas having the good light, enough warm water and abundant nutrients. The main factor affecting primary productivity are listed as follows. Light. Light energy from the sun is essential for the process of photosynthesis. As we know, without light, the photosynthesis process cannot be completed, and variation in the light availability has the direct effect on the productivity. So light is a factor which directly affects the productivity. Tropics have the highest rate of photosynthesis and has maximum net primary productivity among terrestrial ecosystem. There has been a large effect in the oceans where, because of the limits of light penetration, the plants are present at the deep. Productivity of aquatic ecosystem is lesser than the terrestrial ecosystem because of the availability, less amount of availability of the sunlight. The ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, they have lesser productivity than the terrestrial ecosystem because the terrestrial ecosystem, they are in direct exposure of the sunlight. Nutrients, these are required for the growth of producers. Limited availability has effect on the overall productivity of an ecosystem. Estuaries and coral reefs which have rich supply of nutrients they have higher productivity, while the deserts being deficient in nutrients are less productive. So nutrients also is the direct factor for the productivity of any ecosystem. Water is also essential for photosynthesis. Lack of water is the limiting factor for primary production on the earth's surface. The areas having the adequate amount of water have the large amount of primary production. Temperature. Temperate forests are less productive than that of the tropical rainforest due to the colder environmental conditions. Similarly, the productivity of the Arctic zone and alpine zones is very less due to low temperature. So all the factors, nutrients, water, temperature, must be accurate to have the maximum productivity. Photosynthetic efficiency. The productivity of C4 plants. C4 plants have more productivity than the C3 plant. Sugarcane has been found to be the most productive crop, being most competent in trapping of light. So as the light attainment by the sugar cane is maximum, So it has the most productivity, higher level of productivity. So this is all about the product.